A lovely morning to you, children. Krishna, I'm back again with chapter 5 of Snapshots. And the name of the chapter is Mother's Day. What a lovely name, simple name. Children, till now we learned, we went through poem, articles, biography, and many kind of things. But today what we are going to learn is a play which was set back in 1950, almost a long back, almost 70 years from now. And the Mother's Day that was written by J.B. Priestley, and it is about a plight of a housewife, the position of a housewife as a mother, as a wife in a family. Okay, and those days, way back 70 years before, what was the condition of women those days? Not women, as we can say, housewife, the ladies who do not work. Okay, they were treated just as a subordinate of a family who gets no thanks. Okay, the work is not appreciated, and the children of the house, her husband, they give no thanks to her. They do not value her works, and this is very ironical that it's almost 70 years, but till date, the position of the woman is more or less same. Okay, we can say that woman has risen very high. Okay, they have succeeded, they have achieved so much, and so many things have been done for women. But if you turn the newspaper, if you switch on the television, how many news do you hear of women climbing high, of women succeeding, or women empowerment? More of the news is covered by the torture done on women. But here we are not talking about anything of that. Here we are talking about only the condition of woman as a housewife who does not earn for the family. Now let's come to the play. Okay, children, play is a good method of conveying some message to society. Okay, because through play we can enact and we can convey some message simply and very practically. Things could be conveyed, could be visualized as things are happening in each and every house. I don't know what is the situation these days, but most of you know very well how are the housewives treated at home, especially if they do not earn. So now we have only 5 characters in this play. Who are they? Mrs. Annie Pearson, and she is in the lead role, along with, she is the mother in question, for whom it has been written Mother's Day. It's nothing like Mother's Day which we celebrate each and every year. The Mother's Day here is the day she got recognized by her family. She got respect from her family. Her work was valued by her children, by her husband. So the play is about Mrs. Annie Pearson, who is a mother in question and who is a wife. Yeah. And now the second person is Mr. George Pearson, who is Annie's husband, or Mrs. Pearson's husband. Third one is Doris. She is Annie's daughter, and Cyril, he is Mrs. Pearson's son. Both children, they are youngsters, and they are very much pampered, as much pampered as Mr. Pearson. Pampered and spoiled. Okay, spoiled in the sense that they cannot move a single inch without getting the work done by Mrs. Pearson. She has to do each and everything for them. Okay, and because both of them, they go out, and even he works. Fine. So now one more character here, main character, and she plays a very vital role here, is Mrs. Fitzgerald, and she is their neighbor. She is a neighbor, and she's an astrologer also. You cannot say she's an astrologer or what. When she was in Eastern countries, her husband was in army, and when she was in Eastern country for many years, she learned few magical tricks. Okay, magical tricks, and she will use that trick here with Mrs. Pearson to get her recognized in her family. Now, let's come to the book and let's see how it happened. This is very interesting play, and what I suggest you, it will take you hardly 1 hour to read each and every chapter in these books, Hornbill and Snapshot. But this book will take you just 1 hour to go through it and enjoy it. And it will give you many thoughts also. Okay, many thoughts as children, as a son of your mother, as a daughter of your mother. It will give you few thoughts also. Okay. So, how is the opening of the play? Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald, they're sitting in the room, okay, in the hall, okay, in the house hall, okay, and there was a table set in the middle. Both of them, they were sitting in front of each other, and the card was laid on the table. Now, she is Mrs. Fitzgerald. She is doing some forecast based on the cards, because all of you know very well that they use card for fortune telling also. So she just stumbled on the cards and she went through that, and then she told that Mrs. Pearson is not having a good standing in her family. Now children, what will we learn in this chapter, in this play? Okay, I'll split it into 2 videos. The first video, that is going to now, we will learn about Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald, about their personalities. Okay, and at the end I'll tell you how Mrs. Fitzgerald manipulates Mrs. Pearson for interchanging the personality, that Mrs. Fitzgerald will have the personality. They cannot change the body. That's not possible. They're human beings. But through some magical tricks which she learned, Mrs. Fitzgerald will become Mrs. Pearson. She will get the personalities of Mrs. Pearson, and she will give her own personality to Mrs. Pearson. So now, why they want to change the personality? What is the need? What is the need and what will be used? I'll tell you. Okay, as you can see in the book, okay, they're enjoying the tea or coffee or whatever, okay, and the sketch also. The sketch here can tell you about the personality of these 2 ladies. Now first I will tell you about Mrs. Pearson. Okay, Mrs. Pearson, who is the second lady here sitting at the table. She looks a bit worried. Okay, she looks a bit worried, a bit frightened, because she's that kind of lady. She's a bit timid. She's a soft-spoken lady, soft-hearted lady. Okay, she is a bit timid. She's afraid of each and everything, of taking any step, because she's afraid that if I do this thing, my son will get angry. If I do this thing, my daughter will get angry. If I do this thing, my husband will feel bad. So she is a bit timid. But she cares about her family. Okay, she cares about her family. She's very soft-spoken. Okay, and she has all kind of womanish quality inside her. She is caring, as I told you, and she is non-complaining lady. So that is about Mrs. Pearson. Now let's come to Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is doing some talk here, sipping coffee, and at the same time she is smoking also. So now how is she? She totally contradicts, she totally opposite to Mrs. Pearson in the personality. in the nature. She has nothing of a womanish quality. Okay? She smokes, she drinks, she plays cards, she enjoys that, and she learned magical tricks. Magical tricks in Eastern countries when her husband was posted there in army. She learned all those eccentric tricks over there. Okay, she is very harsh in nature. Okay, and she is bold. So now we will see their personality and their nature in the play, which goes like this. Now let's turn to the second page. Now in second page, Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is telling Mrs. Pearson that why she has tolerated all those things. Why doesn't she teach lessons to her family members? Why doesn't she leave them? She let them do their own work. Because what happens, they will come back home every evening, they'll throw their things here and there, and they'll assume that Mrs. Pearson will be ready serving them all the time. Her value in the family was more or less like a domestic servant. Okay. Children, working for the family is not a bad thing, but her work was not valued at all, and that was the plight of this play. So now Mrs. Fitzgerald was telling, she's asking Mrs. Pearson to teach them a lesson, to let them do their own work. But she had never done that before. So she just can't imagine that how can she let them, how can she just leave the work and take a rest and enjoy her day at home and let them do their own work. Because she has never done that, she just can't imagine it at all. So as you read it, okay, whenever there's a dialogue spoken by Mrs. Pearson, you can see in the brackets smiling apologetically, because whatever she says, she feels guilty for even thinking of that. That's why she has to apologize, speaking like that. Dubiously means hesitatingly or with doubt. That, will it be all right if I do this? Is it right? Is it a correct thing? Or am I going to wrong thing? Okay. And at one point, we'll also see that when she speaks, she flusters. So what is flusters? Means she was a bit nervous, thinking that, and this point was mentioned when she will ask to change the personality, then she will fluster, means anxiety plus confusion is for taking any action. Immediately she becomes nervous. She becomes nervous just thinking of that. So they had a long talk. She's trying to convince her. She's trying to change her mind. Mrs. Fitzgerald is trying to change Miss Pearson's mind, but she could not succeed. And finally, you can see when she glanced at the watch, while they were having a talk, while she was trying to manipulate her, while she was trying to convince her, suddenly, Mrs. Pearson, she saw the clock, and she became nervous. Oh my God! Here it's written, good gracious. Good gracious means, oh my God, look at the time, actually it's time for them to come. And she looks at the table, nothing is laid on the table, the tea is not ready, this and that is not ready, means the work she was supposed to get ready for the children and for the husband, it was the time to be back home. So things were not ready on the table, and she was afraid that they'll feel bad, they'll get angry, this and that. So she got nervous. She told, oh my God, good gracious, time for them to come back home and nothing is laid on the table, things are not ready. I'm just sitting here wasting my time talking. So now Mrs. Fitzgerald, she told Now then she used the word. This is where your foot goes down. Foot goes down. This phrasal word means she is authorizing her to stop doing it. Means she's telling it now. This is the very time. This is the correct time. This is the right time when you have to decide it. Okay? When you have to let it become. Okay? So she told that is where you put your foot down. Means you have to decide it once for all. That you must do it. You must teach them a lesson. She told, no, I cannot. And the negotiation was going on when Mrs. Fitzgerald, she came up with an idea. She suggested, okay, then let me do it. Now she flustered. She flustered at this point. Mrs. Pearson flustered at this point means she became nervous and anxious. How can she allow Mrs. Fitzgerald to be the boss of the family? How can she take charge of her husband and children? Because she knows that she is rude, she is bold, and she is harsh in nature and very straightforward. So she told, no, thank you very much. I cannot just imagine how you can do this and how they will react if you interfere into my family matters. That's impossible. Then Mrs. Fitzgerald, she told coolly, oh, you haven't got the idea. You haven't got the idea. Then what did she say? That, okay, I will take charge of the house, but not as me, but I will do it as you. Means I will become you and you will become me. So what does it mean? She told that I have learned the trick when I was there, and I know the art of changing personality. She told that I will remain in your, means you will remain in your house, in your body as Mrs. Pearson. You will stay here as you are, but you will get my personality. Means the personality Mrs. Pearson's body will have will be the personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald, that is bold and straight. But and while Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was doing the magic spell, she will get the personality of Pearson, the timid and soft-spoken lady who cares for the family. So, yeah, she was a bit doubtful also, that how is it possible? Then once she asked also, she cleared it out. Children, it happens with anybody. If somebody asks us to interchange the personality, even we will have the same doubt. What will happen if I keep remaining like this? If I keep remaining as Mrs. Fitzgerald, and if you keep remaining as Mrs. Pearson, then she told, don't worry. Even though I have learned this trick long back, I can change. We can interchange back again in a moment. And anytime you want, you will have your personality back again as Pearson, and I will get my personality back into my own body. That finally she agrees with a little bit of doubt in her heart. She agrees because somehow she wanted them to learn. She wanted her family to learn to value her. So she agrees. She agrees. Then Mrs. Fitzgerald told Pearson, now they can be back any moment, so we have to hurry. Just give me your hand. So Mrs. Pearson put her hand into Mrs. Fitzgerald's hand, laid on the table, and she just spoke some magical words, some magical spells. All those words, she says, okay, Ashtatadam and all that thing she told like this, and she was having Mrs. Pearson's hand in her hand, and after she spoke, after she said the magical words, okay, the interchange of the personality took place, and as soon as it happened, both of them, they relaxed. The word lax has been used. I'm not sure whether I have written it. Lax means, okay, they became cool and slacked, okay. Both of them, they became loose. Means things, because things were done. So now what happened? Let's come to page number 36. That is, after this little scene of doing magical tricks, playing magical words, after that what happened? Mrs. Pearson, her voice became harsh and stern and strict and bold. And Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was doing the magical spell, immediately she got the personality of Mrs. Pearson, and she became timid, soft-spoken lady who was afraid, who was nervous. Now, Mrs. Pearson, who was having a personality of Mrs. Fitzgerald, she told, "See what I mean, dear?" And she snatched the cigarette from Mrs. Fitzgerald's hands, because now she was Pearson. And Mrs. Pearson, now inside her was Mrs. Fitzgerald's personality, and she needed a cigarette. So she snatched it, she was smoking, and now they talked for some time. And Mrs. Pearson, she was enjoying all the scene, because inside she was Fitzgerald. She was enjoying, and she told, "Now, I'm here, so now I will teach them a lesson. I will tell them how to get it done." So now when it was time for children to come, for her husband to come, Pearson's husband, Pearson's children, so now the scene will be changed. Now the scene will be changed. Every day they will see their mother waiting for them with the clothes ready, because in the evening, every day what happens, this Doris, the daughter, she will go out, she will dress up nicely, and she will go out to meet a boyfriend, Charles Spencer, and Cyril. Cyril will get ready to go to the club. And her husband also, Mr. George Pearson, he will also go to the club. So nobody stays home. They'll just come, they'll throw their things, they will change their dress, they'll take tea and go out. So let us assume the same thing will take place. Children and husband will come back home in the same mood, but will everything be the same? Will the children find their mother waiting for them? Can't say, because their mother Pearson would be sitting there on the table, but having the personality of Fitzgerald, she'll be playing with the cards. Okay, she'll be playing with the cards, she'll be smoking and drinking and sitting there. Now let us see what will happen when the children come back home, and I will cover that part in my second video. So till then, have a very good time. Let us meet again, continue in the second video. Bye children.